Second delay. That was Mary Whitehouse. Oh, scared me. She's back from beyond the grave. Welcome, everyone, to the Video Nasties show that we're going to talk about all kinds of video nasties. But for those of you who are maybe weak at heart or weak of stomach, we're going to try and find some starter films for you as well. We're going to go through a list of some, and maybe not all, but some, and maybe most of the video nasties with our resident video nasty expert, Mr. Lucard. Hello, Lucard.
Hey, hello, Matthew. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Even better
this
to
way.
see you.
You're over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's weird. It's so that I can get our because for the second half, for people who haven't been backstage chatting about what we're going to do, for the second half of the show, we're going to look through how the British people reported all this hullabaloo back in the day, which I think you're going to find really funny. In fact, you're probably going to find it a little bit quaint and twee, and maybe even a little bit silly. And how we reported it back over here. And just a big thank you to you for joining us, Al, because this is going to be a really good fun one. But also a thank you to the Book of the Dead website, and which is also linked to, let me just get this right, Seenoevil, who collected all these articles together originally. So when we have a look through them, I'll point you in the direction of that website, guys, for lots of things about video nasties. Before we do that, let's just kind of think about, it's a colloquial term, isn't it? A video nasty. It's a very British term, but it's something that, like most things, people ended up a bit like any publicity is good publicity. Well, bad publicity makes people want to see what all the fuss is about. So
Indeed.
This was something that definitely spread to the US as well, in the sense of there was satanic panic, but that's slightly different, isn't it? That was almost more D&D and things like that. But
yeah,
what was your kind of memory of the whole video nasties thing from your side of the pond?
Well, when I initially heard of it, and I may have said this before on a different stream, but I was kind of just getting into the kind of crazier horror stuff, and I'm like 12, right? So, and then I find out that there's this thing called the video nasty list, and I'm like, well, number one, it's a list. Love lists. Yeah. Lists are fantastic. And it's these crazy movies that like I can watch. Like, what? Yeah, give me some of this. So of course,
take them off.
As any good horror fan would, you start seeking these movies out. And I've seen a good portion of them. I haven't seen them all, but I have seen the majority of them.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would like to eventually complete and have said I've seen all 72, but I think there's about 4 or 5 I'm missing, I think.
Yeah, so we're going to have a look at the 72. I know that there are arguments made for other things, and ironically, a lot of people who made films wanted to be added to the list. This was a video nasty as well, or use it as a selling point. So there's a lot of debate about that kind of thing. But we're not going to really get into what is a video nasty, what isn't a video nasty. We're just going to kind of stick to those 72. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some of the titles at you. If they're ones you've not seen or you don't know anything about, we can just move on. I've probably seen less than you, and some of them I've seen because of you, and some of them, surprisingly, I think I had a better reaction to them than I would have thought. I think anybody who watches my channel knows that anything with kind of animal-related stuff in it, I really struggle with. In fact, I probably just steer clear of altogether.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either at all. Like,
yeah,
that's to me that's the no.
Yeah, yeah. Even though, like, and I think maybe I've gotten almost more extreme with that as I got older, because even that film Good Boy, which I think is going to have a happy ending, probably is supposed to be great, but I think it'll just make me too sad because I'll just be like, leave that poor doggy alone, like.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to watch it. So, but hi to everyone in the chat. I see lots of people popping up in the chat. It's nice, nice. It's nice of you to join us, not nasty.
Yes.
And let's start with a couple of films. I have got a couple of notes. I'm sure you've got notes as well. Some of these we might just go through super fast and be like, I've not got a lot to say about that, but we'll kind of give it a like, oh, this would be a good starter video nasty. It's maybe like got a bit of a bad rep in the sense of it was on that list and didn't deserve it, or it's maybe aged better and isn't as extreme or scary as maybe it was at the time. There's lots of things like that. And there's definitely some that I think are probably just as shocking now as they were at the time.
Well, that's the thing about this list, is that there are some yeah, I totally get it. And it's still offensive today. I get it.
Yeah.
And then there are some, why were they on the list to begin with? Because they're not anything. Like at all.
Yeah.
And so it kind of runs the gamut from one extreme to the other, and kind of everything in between. So that's why this list is actually fairly interesting.
Yeah, and just to add to that a little bit, one of the things I've noticed about my takes on these are that revenge films I'm a fan of generally. However, the revenge for me, I think I've worked out what it is, what makes me like it or not like a revenge film, is if the punishment almost has to exceed the crime for me to be happy. Like, I have such a sense of justice that if someone does something horrendous, then something more than that thing has to happen in order for me to be happy. It's like, F that person, F them 10 times more than they F'd at the beginning when they did that bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might play into my take on some of these as we go along. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how we go. So let's start with Absurd from 1981. So Absurd, directed by Joe D'Amato. Is that one that what's your thoughts on Absurd?
Absurd is very strange. It's a very strange movie. There's a lot going on. I don't remember anything super graphic in it, but I'm sure there probably was. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, so I can tell you the reason it was so 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes were cut, but it was withdrawn, never resubmitted for classification in the UK. It was released in the US under the title Horrible. The mutant going on the killing spree part of the, like, where it all kind of kicks off, I believe, is the issue. Strangely, I read that the original tape is, like most of them, I guess, but is particularly sought after and quite expensive. But I've seen it. I don't remember a lot about it. I don't remember being particularly shocked by it. So I don't know.
That's kind of the thing. That's one of the least memorable ones. And
yeah.
And it's
well, we've got that one out of the way.
I do remember that one. I remember the storyline being convoluted and confusing.
Right.
More than anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would personally skip it, but that's just me.
Yeah. I think it doesn't stand out as one or the other for me. Like I have to run away from it, but equally, I don't think I can remember going, "Wow, this is mind blowing." Yeah. So let's have a look at the next one. So the next one, 1973, Antonio Margheriti, one of Quentin Tarantino's favorites. He always seems to mention him whenever people maybe just like saying it, Flesh for Frankenstein. So this is 2 zombies created, one male, one female, planning to mate them in order to create a master race. So this had 56 seconds cut in 1996 to be passed. So it took a long time for it to finally get passed over here from 1973 to 1996. and it was prosecuted. So it was also marketed in the US as Andy Warhol's Frankenstein.
It was indeed with the now late great Udo Kier.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
That's another weird. It's another weird movie. There's some bloody stuff. There's some nasty stuff in it, but I mean, I don't think anything super extreme from what I remember. But it's been a very long time since I watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. To me, that's just another weird one. Like
I think this one might have been the sexuality side of it. That was the reason. Maybe certainly in the US, I feel like that is something that's maybe. I mean, you can probably speak on this more than me. Maybe more offensive than somebody having their head lopped off would be.
Yeah, you know. In fact, I'm actually I'm surprised the US didn't do a similar list, but with sexier stuff. That makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It makes a lot of sense. It's strange, isn't it?
I'm kind of surprised they didn't, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it's like
I can see that because there's some, some kind of homoerotic stuff and all that jazz going on in it too. But of course, again, it's Andy Warhol, so makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I heard that and I haven't seen a 3D version of this. That there was the 3D version. They had the internal organs were like pushed when they were disemboweling people, pushed towards the camera.
That's what I heard too. But like again, it didn't look all that real. So
well, no, Andy Warhol's more sort of like DIY kind of look to it that sometimes takes away from the
And that's and that's a common thing I think we'll see as we go along. That a lot of these, it's the effects. However, the effects are like super cheesy and don't really look like the real thing. So, like, I don't know. I guess it was the intention.
Yeah, and sometimes the sort of the grimy stuff, in a way, makes it more scary. As we'll talk about some of them, because you've got that kind of weird. Like it feels very real, like it feels very like someone's just filming this handheld as it's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a bit of a weird one. The thing to take into account. Okay, let's move on. So I have not seen the next one. Another Joe D'Amato film, The Grim Reaper from 1980. Now this is I don't know any of the actors in it. And I believe it's a hitchhiker film and a cannibal film.
Here we go, right here, baby.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That looks like a jazzy boutique version.
Yeah, this is from Shriek Show. This is so AKA Anthropophagus is the other title for it.
Okay.
So this movie.
Yeah, I have seen it. Sorry, I didn't realize it was that same film.
Yeah, so this movie is they like they're on vacation or something in I want to say it's like Greece or something.
Yeah, I have seen it. Yes, that's the one.
They run into this cannibal guy who's on the cover. And like there's a part where he's eating a person, and it's a little disgusting. But it's again, I personally didn't find it that intense or bad or offensive.
No, in fact, if anything, I found it a bit silly. I'm pretty sure Mystery Science Theater did a version of this as well.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. It's a watchable movie.
I feel like it did, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you, I wouldn't say it's a good starter because it's kind of slow. It's kind of a slow movie from what I remember.
Okay. Yeah,
but the extremeness of it is kind of totally overblown, in my personal opinion.
I think, do you know what? It's all coming back to me now. There is a lot of just kind of wandering through.
There's a lot of walking and a lot of
grass and it's like quite hilly as well, if I can remember. So there's a lot of like kind of climbing going on. But yeah, so
Mhm.
I guess you could watch this, say you've watched the video Nasty and not really see anything too particularly scary. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I would say that one's fairly safe.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I would
ish.
say so. So the
Yeah.
next one is like a bit more notorious for the name, for the person who made it being like a kind of known name in horror, is Herschel Gordon Lewis's 1963 film Blood Feast,
Yes.
which was released even in 2001. It had 23 seconds cut from it, and then was released uncut in 2005. This is one of the prosecuted ones. I don't know if I've ever seen Blood Feast, or I've definitely not seen all of it.
Okay. So Blood Feast. Okay. So I've seen a good bit of Herschel's work.
Yeah, yeah,
And the thing about it is that it looks so incredibly fake that there's no way you could think that this was actually happening. Like none.
yeah,
And
yeah. It's
but
campy, isn't it? Very campy.
now it's extremely campy. And but the thing is that in these movies he does go like too far. So like for instance, like you see them cutting the girl in half and then you see her getting ripped apart. But it looks incredibly cheesy and fake and funny and goofy. So
Yeah,
see this I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I don't know because I
yeah,
I I get it from the intention, but the final product is just kind of funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If
That
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 makes
I
any
suppose that
sense.
will depend on how. It's a bit like going into like something with scare actors, isn't it? If you're willing to sort of commit to the fact that they're not actors, then
Right.
you'll get,
Exactly.
it's a bit like that. So if you're willing to kind of see the absurdity in this, you'll probably enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Um, but if you think you're right in it, it might be quite scary. But I guess that goes for all of them. That's that. Yeah, this is the oldest one as well. So like the oldest one on the list.
It is
Um,
because it was about 20 years old then when it got put
yeah,
on the list, right? So yeah,
yeah, which is pretty wild. I think the title, the
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 title doesn't
the kind
help
of
probably. Yeah.
no, no, and yeah, and I think there's like um that's probably it, to be honest. People thought I read this as well. People thought that this was the first film to show people dying with their eyes open, but then it's in The Public Enemy, it's in Psycho, it's in quite a lot of other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
there's a few movies. It's just that's the
yeah,
first one that they remember, I guess.
I'm going to skip through to some sort of more well-known ones because I think there's some interesting ones here where you might have a take on them where there's only a few moments and the rest of it is almost quite fun. For example,
Mm.
The Burning. So we've got 1981's The Burning, um, starring Jason Alexander and a few other people, Brian
Yeah.
Backer and all different kinds of people
Fisher
who might know
Stevens,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, Fisher Stevens, of course. Yeah,
Holly Hunter.
directed by Tony Malum and financed by the Weinsteins, but which might be the most nasty thing about it.
Indeed.
So this was released with 19 seconds cut back in 1992, and then released uncut in 2001. This was one of the prosecuted ones, of course, as they all are. The two scenes of contention, to put it on the list, were Cropsey's mass murder spree. By the way, spoilers if anyone's.
By the way,
And Cropsey's the bad guy. And then the sight of the scissors going into the flesh. So, there it is. So, what's your thought on this one? Would you be able to watch like skip over a couple of parts and really enjoy the kind of the campness of it?
all
The
right. So to
camping.
to me, as a slasher film, this is actually one of the best slasher films that there is, in my
Right.
opinion. It's a top five slasher film for me, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bit graphic. There's it's pretty bloody. It's pretty, but I mean by today's standards, it's kind of, I wouldn't say run of the mill, but It's still kind of impressive. If you like those
I guess
like comedy type effects and stuff, then this movie can't be beat. But
that's
if
what I
you're
was going to say.
not into it,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I mean you might be able to skip some, but there's a good amount of craziness in this movie though. But
There is,
as a
and there's
movie,
also a lot of like realism from Savini. Like, so because if it's Savini, because it's Savini, it improves the whole product and makes Cropsy a much more sort of realistic. You know, we just talked about Blood Feast. Like, this is the next generation but one. This is like Savini and his crew, who are just, you know, the makeup effects are out of this world, and that makes Cropsy so dangerous. And for people watching it who hadn't seen a lot of this before, it's pretty wild.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Friday the 13th on steroids.
Yeah.
It's a good way I can
You've
describe
got
it.
Yeah, and it's like you've got this and Sleepaway Camp and Friday the 13th, all kind of same, I think roughly the same part of America,
Right.
New upstate New York, and a lot of the same special effects kind of people. So it's like there may be people who are really into their Friday the 13th. I don't think if they are, then this is a video nasty that they would be able to watch, because they're not going to see anything that's that much different to any of the Friday the 13th that they will have seen.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're a fan of the Friday movies, then you'd probably like The Burning.
Yeah. There's a lot of people have a lot of love for it as well. Like, I've got friends who it was one of the first horror films they saw, or Ben, who I do the podcast with, it's one of the first horror films he saw, and he thought it was absolutely like mind blowing. It wasn't for me. I don't know, even though it's got loads of great actors in it and the action's great and the thing, it's just not a film that I revisit a lot. It's not for me. Maybe, I don't know. I was going to say it lacks a bit of silliness, but it does have silliness in it too. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I just never connected with it in the same way. Say, for example, like Sleepaway Camp is one of my favorites, like absolute favorites, but I can't. I could probably go into raptures about that and go into detail about that, but not so much about The Burning. But yeah, so if you're a Halloween,
and I'm the opposite. I'm a
right. Yeah, you're on the fence with yeah. So there's loads of people.
One,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of the Sleepaway Camp sequels.
I like them too. And yeah, I like those as well. I like the second and third one anyway.
And apparently, The Burning is Michael Myers' favorite slasher movie, according to
Yeah, so I was saying that he's his favorite slasher. The Michael Myers as well, not just this Michael Myers. But
you would think.
I mean, this is the.
But,
Yeah. This is the Michael Myers. Okay, so I'm going to group two together here, because even though people who know me and you know me very well, and you seem to taunt me with this, I have a real phobia of rats. Like, I'm really scared of rats.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd think that I'd be happy to see them getting splattered and things like that. However, another Margheriti film, Cannibal Apocalypse, was the BBFC felt that it was in breach of the Cruelty to Animals Act, blowing up the rats. Now, this has got one of my favorite character actors as well. John Saxon's in it. I have seen most of this, but yeah, I gotta be honest, just rats in general would scare me, but splattering them as well, I feel upsets me. So I'm going to put that Cannibal Apocalypse, and one that I often get mixed up with it, the Umberto Lenzi, again, who I love, Nightmare Beach, and which I think is a great camp film, another John Saxon film. I'm going to also put the two cannibal ones together, Cannibal Apocalypse and Cannibal Ferox, so from 1980 and 1981. Either of those, from the sounds of the title, I think with just cannibal in them, people are going to think that there's no way that these are going to be very accessible. Is that right? Or
yeah, I think with just the name Cannibal in it, especially back in 1980, was it 83 or whatever, 84? Like that immediately was a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Cannibal Ferox has
so
more
now
animal
Ferox,
cruelty in it, doesn't it?
Ferox is more like Cannibal Holocaust, which is of course one of the most extreme of the Nasties.
Yeah.
It's very much closer to that than Cannibal Apocalypse is. But Cannibal Apocalypse is an okay movie. I don't remember the rat thing too much, to be honest. I do know that that's the thing about the movie everybody talks about, but to
Yeah.
me, it happened so quickly.
I think that's what Michael's saying in the chat. Yeah, it's like 2 seconds. I probably would have noticed it more than others just because honestly, it feels like rats are just following me around. You know, like what's it Han Solo says? Oh no, not Han Solo. Indiana Jones, where he's like, it had to be snakes, you know? It's like that with me, with rats just seem to appear in all films that I'm watching just because I freaking hate them. But yeah, it's only supposed to be a couple of seconds for the rats thing. So out of the Apocalypse, Ferox, and Holocaust trio, Holocaust is the one that is the worst in terms of animal cruelty.
Yeah.
SA as people might put it. Then Ferox would be kind of the second worst. Am I right? And then the most accessible would be Apocalypse.
I would definitely agree with that ranking. But I don't know if I would necessarily recommend Cannibal Apocalypse. Now for the purpose of this video, I would say no. I would say stay away from it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very family friendly from what I recall.
Right.
I could be, again, it's been a while. So but from what I recall, I'd say stay away.
I really like the sort of campy side of Lenzi films. He did a really good sex comedy, sex drama, giallo kind of film that I really enjoyed. I can't quite remember the name of. I've literally got it right here. Oh, it's called Orgasmo, and then not that one though. And then and then I'm really fan of Nightmare Beach. I like the sort of campier side. I don't know if I've ever seen any of Cannibal Ferox. I think I've seen some of Cannibal Apocalypse because I'm a big John Saxon fan, as I said. And the rat thing probably stuck in my mind just because rats.
Now, if you are a Saxon fan, I would say watch Cannibal Apocalypse. And kind of like Michael just said, it is almost more of an action movie than a,
because they're soldiers, if I remember correctly, aren't they? They're like
something like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of in that period of time where there's lots of soldiers in jungles, movies being made. So the one that's got the most amount of kind of detail about how and why you could literally do a whole show on it is Holocaust. But there's another, I'm going to kind of just add one more here that I didn't know. There's another film with cannibal in the title, Cannibal Man. Have you seen that?
Yes,
that is Eloy de la Iglesia, who I've never heard of.
Here's my copy right here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is a guy, this sounds interesting. Yeah. So this is a guy who works in a meat factory who accidentally kills a taxi driver and begins gradually killing people in order to cover up his original crime, which sounds really interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So despite this cracy cover with the meat cleaver going
it
through,
sounds like a proper film. Like, it sounds like a real film.
I mean, it's more of a drama, really, and it's not really gory. You'd think it would be, but it's kind of not. And it's there is some slaughterhouse footage, and so I think that's what made it go over. Besides the name Cannibal Man.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, that's what the bbfc. Yeah, it's not that violent. It's not actually a very violent film.
It's not a very violent film. It's actually it's an interesting movie.
The idea of it, I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but I'm a big fan of the film Taxi Hunter, and I don't know. It kind of feels like it might sit alongside that.
Yeah, I would say so. And then the other thing is that I don't know why it's called Cannibal Man.
Right, because he
He
works in
doesn't
a
eat.
meat factory.
I guess. I mean, he doesn't eat
But
anybody. He's not a
yeah, he
cannibal.
doesn't eat humans in that factory.
It's bizarre why they called it that. But I would say if you could live with the slaughterhouse stuff or just fast forward through it, watch the rest of it because it's pretty decent little movie.
Okay, so moving from the sort of the extreme to obviously Cannibal Man sounds really interesting. Maybe one for people to explore. And then a ridiculous one, a silly one now that I have definitely seen a few times. Don't Go in the Woods. Now, I think this might be one that I would say not necessarily go and watch it because it's a great film, but if you wanted to watch a video nasty, I don't think it is that bad. I don't remember anything in it being particularly anything other than a bit silly.
I agree 100%. This was definitely one of the first ones I thought of when you told me the concept of this video. That was literally one of the first ones I thought of.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah.
It's very accessible. It's very, like you said, it's kind of goofy, and it's just a fun little goofy movie with some killings and nothing.
It's not
super,
the goofy movie though, is it?
It's definitely not a goofy movie. No, Max is okay. Don't worry. But I guess it would be a good introduction. I guess if you can take the goofiness of it all.
Yeah. I like it. It treads that fine line between goofy and potentially sending me to sleep.
Yeah.
There is a really good. I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning. The Tony Newton and David Bond's book, VHS Nasty, the video Nasties, with lots of other contributions in there from other people who probably bounce around on YouTube a lot. There's a really good article about Don't Go In to the Woods that I thought is worth reading. So yeah, this is another one. When it was released uncut in 2007, it was given a 15, which is quite interesting.
That tells me all you need to know right there.
Yeah. So like, and then I think maybe there's one that we saw together. I want to circle back to Driller Killer because I think you'll probably know a lot more about that than me. But one that I really like and really enjoy that I would say is 98% like just a film you could watch at the cinema and then 2% video nasty is Evil Speak with an amazing performance by Clint Howard.
Yeah. Yes. Again, agree 100%. That was also on my list. I have a little list right here in front of me. Evil Speak. I know there's a pig scene, but
yes.
And that is easily the craziest scene in the movie. But again, you can either skip it or, from what I remember, it's not that long. But again, kind of a fun little satanic panic type of movie, and I do think that's part of why it was on the list as well. But you know, it's a fun little movie with Clint Howard in one of his first leading roles, if not his first leading role.
He's great. Yeah, he's so good.
He's so good in it. Who I might be meeting next week, by the way, at the convention. So
cool.
Hopefully I'll get a picture. Hopefully.
Well, tell him hi from me. And you know, get an ice cream or something. In fact, no, don't eat the ice creams. Be careful, Al.
I'll try. Yeah.
So that and then just to kind of circle. Yeah, I do recommend Evil Speak. I think it's a really underrated film, an underrated performance. And like, it's, if you just went off IMDb, which, you know, you probably shouldn't just go off ratings and aggregating things like that and give it a go. It's only like 5.7 on IMDb, but I've seen films much worse with much higher ratings. Like, and it was released uncut in 2004 in the UK. It was reclassified and re-released in 1999, but it had 3 minutes of cuts, which basically is the climax of the film. So yeah, I don't know how it would work without that climax of the film.
Yeah,
But
really weird.
Yeah, in America, this was taken in a bit of a strange direction because Anton LaVey, the Church of Satan priest guy, loved the film and thought he was just like, "Hey, put satanic on it because on the box it's got my seal of approval."
Yeah,
yeah, that probably doesn't help.
I'm sure that didn't help a lick. No,
no.
No, not at
So
all.
the next one's Driller Killer from 1979. That's Abel Ferrara, and this one I think had a lot of issues, but really wanted to play into the this is really dangerous. You don't want to watch. Like don't go home on your own after watching this film, kind of thing.
Right. But this was in the age too of like Son of Sam and all this other real life crazy stuff that was going on.
Good point.
And so the movie just really played into all of that type stuff. And there's some bloody bits, sure. And even in the quote unquote uncut version, as long as you can take some blood, I think you'll be fine. And it's easily available. You can watch it right here on YouTube.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's like so funny now.
And uncut too. That's the funny part.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Michael's just said, I wonder if Anton LaVey approved of Don't Go in the Woods. It was like, it's not satanic enough for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder if there was just people who were going, like edgelords of the 80s who were like, hey, this isn't scary enough for me. This is not satanic enough for me. Yeah, what's the matter? You're too scary for this film? And Michael mentions another film called The Forest, which escaped the Nasties list. I haven't seen that. And the only Forest
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it. But I do think it's similar to Don't Go in the Woods, I think.
Okay. So, shooting through some of these, there's one that I wanted to mention, or a couple I wanted to mention. One that I have seen quite a lot, which is I've got it, and it's not called. It's called something else, but I can't quite remember what it's called. But the film is Expose, with Udo Kier again. Linda Hayden is in this, and Fiona Richmond. Now, this is for me a weird British. A British-made film. And I think the scary, yes, that's the copy I've got of it actually. Yeah. What's the title on it? I can't find
House on Straw Hill.
The House on Straw Hill, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got that, but I don't know what I've done with it. Maybe I've got it downstairs ready to rewatch for this. Because for me, it kind of I like 70s sort of sex comedies and things like that, and it kind of feels a bit like that at times, and he just kind of stomps around grumpily around this little village, and it's kind of a nice little time capsule, and then some pretty extreme stuff happens, but also some more adult material was kind of put into it, and it was all over the place really. In terms of, so I know Linda Hayden was very surprised with the final outcome and didn't like it. Those two guys who are like, strangely, Carl Howman, who went on to be in like Fawlty Towers and Brushstrokes, like sitcoms, is one of the horrible two guys. It's not a film that you'd watch a lot. Like, I don't think it's good enough to watch again and again. And also the bits in it are very awkward as well, kind of uncomfortable. So, and I believe that Udo Kier was a bit of a maniac on set as well at the time. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on House on
okay, so I get why it was on the list. because it's this weird, like, sexual tension thing going on the whole time, and it's weirdly, it's yeah, it's like a weird. I don't even know the wording for it, but like, um, it's
you think it's going to be almost like a romance or something.
yeah, kind of, and then everything kind of starts happening at the end, and it's kind of whatever. But like, um, if you don't mind the sexy stuff, you'd probably be fine with this one. There is a lot of sexy stuff in it though. So if you're a fan of Linda Hayden, you probably love this movie.
Yeah, if you're Linda Hayden, then you do not like this movie.
Then you probably don't.
Yeah,
I'm a massive Linda Hayden fan, so I love this movie.
I know what you mean. I think it's just a shame. I think it does, for me, it does affect my take on films if somebody says that they really hated being in the film, or not necessarily being in the film or the finished result, but like actually the process of making it wasn't fun, or it was
yeah. I mean, it's not terribly graphic or
no
anything.
No, it's not. It's just it doesn't really sit. I think Michael's right in the comments. I don't think it really sits with a lot of the other films that we've talked about in the more extreme end. It's just more unsettling than it is nasty. It's neither one thing or another, really. Because the name The House on Straw Hill makes it sound like it's going to be some haunted house film, and Expose doesn't kind of fit the idea. And like there was a few films. There was the one with Desi Arnaz Jr. and Vincent Price and all that, where it's like a writer going to a haunted house a few years later. And I feel like sometimes we do this writer going to a haunted house thing when we run out of ideas.
Yes, it's been done quite a bit.
Yeah. And then like people come out of the woodwork, and I guess we've been doing that since Bob Hope was, and before that going into what's the film called with Bob Hope where he's they're all trying to get the money of the person who owns the house. Oh my word!
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and there's about 27 versions of it. But if I try and remember it, I'll probably spend all night trying to remember it. And somebody in the chat might remember it. Was it Cat and the Canary. There we go. The Cat and the Canary.
That's the one.
That's the one. So the next one, I remember kids talking about this at school, passing this around, being a little bit of a there was only maybe two films I can remember people really behaving like this about. One was Basic Instinct later on, and the other one was this, and it was Faces of Death. So, like, for somebody who doesn't know what Faces of Death is, what's Faces of Death?
What is it really, or what did they say it was?
Well, yeah, I mean, what is it really?
It's kind of two different things. So supposedly it's footage of real people dying in gruesome, crazy ways. I do remember there being a big stink over it, even here in the States, and it was.
And we were told it was real, or not. I was told by other kids that it was real. Not by actual anybody with any authority.
I mean, it's a clip show, so it's not really a movie. It's more of a whole bunch of clips put together. One after another, boom, 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 for an hour and a half or a little over an hour or whatever. And it's not my cup of tea. It's not my thing at all. I don't like those. I guess is it considered a Mondo movie? I guess maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's like it doesn't really have a story for one.
No, it's like this fake documentary type of deal, and I'm not a fan of that genre, like, at all. Like it does nothing for me. No. I don't. I'm not wowed by it. I'm not. I'm not enamored with it.
If anything, it's a
just,
curiosity now, isn't it? It's like a
yeah,
curiosity.
kind of, because now you can go back and
what,
look at it and be like, wow, everybody thought this was real, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I would definitely stay away from that one, especially if you're new to the Nasties. Unless you want to go extreme.
Yeah, unless you're like kind of one, now we have these in search of documentaries and they show little clips of things. I guess if you want to kind of watch the OG of that in a very different approach to that kind of thing, because imagine doing like these sort of horror, 80s documentaries where they go through all the films, but the person doing the talking head was telling you that everything in it was real.
Yeah.
Be like, so this bit, there's a guy with a mask and he's going to go to this place called Crystal Lake and you're not going to believe what happens to these poor kids.
Let's watch.
Let's watch and find out. So the other ones I'm going to kind of group some together so that we can have time to, because I feel like this is worth having another episode. Maybe we do a part 2 on this. I'm going to group some together into what I like to think of as like kind of reaction to mental health crisis coming out of Vietnam. So all of the films pretty much with the house in them, the house by the cemetery, the house on the edge of the park, the last house on the left. And I would also group into that I Spit on Your Grave. Like kind of dehumanization of American men through the things that they've been through in Vietnam, and like kind of coming, processing that through film, seeing that in film and seeing it as like, treating people like they're objects and just tearing at them and doing all kinds of horrible things to them. And I think the scariest thing about most of these films anyway is that idea of, being in it's a bit like The Strangers, you're at home and then you're safe where you're supposed to be safe, and then you're not. These go to the nth degree in a way that had never really been done before. So, I mean, if I just throw the names like that, House by the Cemetery is a Fulci film, Lucio Fulci film, should I say?
Yes.
Is that one? What would you say about that one?
I get why it would be on the video nasty list. That is, to me, one of the lesser offenders.
Yeah,
I would say, especially in the world of Fulci, I do think that is definitely one of his lesser offensive movies, quote unquote. But I would say that one's fairly safe for the most part. It does go a little crazy, but again, it's Fulci. If you don't know about Fulci, well, learn about Fulci because he was a madman. But anyway, the one in that list that I definitely would disagree with it being on the list is Don't Go in the Park. Don't go near the park.
Don't go near the park.
The effects are insanely cheesy, and the movie's boring as hell. It is a god awful movie. I don't know why anyone would want to watch it. In all honesty, I would just stay away from it because it's terrible.
That sounds like another one on the list that I'll just mention in passing, where it has one crazy scene and the rest of it is just so difficult to watch. Is Night of the Demon.
Yeah, kind of. Which is not. Yeah.
Bonkers scene. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's this one scene in that one that is a bit whoa, what? But
yeah, that is crazy. I mean, you've got a film I found hard to get through was Last House on the Left. Because I knew we were going to get like I said before, I knew we were going to get our revenge, and I knew we were going to get, like, for example, I love the Night Train murders because I feel that I feel like the Night Train murders, we get the exact amount of revenge that we should get. But I think I have to hang on so long for that with Last House on the Left that I always find it a really hard watch. Whereas, like, I Spit on Your Grave, again, I don't think, of course, I think it's got some really graphic stuff in there, But again, I think the punishment fits the crime, so I can accept it. I think it's actually a great work of art. I think it's a bit of an anomaly even for the director, because from the looks of it, he couldn't even make a remake of it that looked like a real film.
Yeah.
The film itself is fantastic, but and then the
But
other one. So go on.
but would you recommend that to a newbie?
Do you know what? I don't know. Maybe I've been infected by your movie.
Yeah, you see, I would not put either one of those for a newbie. I would say stay away from both
No,
of those.
I think it'd be hard. I wouldn't sit down with the family and watch I Spit on Your Grave. No.
I mean, they're both.
It's a hard watch.
They're both fantastic films, just because of the way they're made. But it is there's so much in it that could be either considered offensive or disturbing. I guess disturbing would be better than offensive.
Disturbing. Yes, yeah. I don't think it's offensive.
They both of them get under your skin, and it's and they're both hard watches. Both very difficult to watch.
Like Night Train Murders, and which isn't on the exactly, and which isn't on the list, and I Spit on Your Grave. You know, it is. I don't feel like it's. You know, we talked a bit about maybe why I didn't like Expose or The House on Straw Hill, is because it felt like it was exploiting the people in it, and whereas I feel like I Spit on Your Grave isn't exploiting anyone. I think it makes a point. I think it makes the point well. I think it's acted well, and I think we get a catharsis out of it, which, you know, it works for me, and maybe that's just how my brain works. But like, for example, one that I found quite hard at the time, and I think this was because of the performance of the actor, was because David Hess, I believe, was a very difficult person in real life. But was at A House on the Edge of the Park. I was glued to that film. 1980s House on the Edge of the Park, Ruggiero Diodato. It's I believe it was a really tough shoot, but yeah, it's even the director said it was possibly too violent. But I did think I gave it a pretty decent rating at the time. I thought House on the Edge of the Park was effective. It was like really gripping, not necessarily one I'd recommend for a first time video nasty watcher, though.
No, I wouldn't say so either. Again, it's been a good while since I've seen that one, but from what you're saying, I kind of remember a little bit, and it's kind of an intense, crazy movie from the director of Cannibal Holocaust. So
and even he said I might have gone too far.
I mean, I would just I think I'd just stay away from Deodato's filmography unless you're really into crazy stuff.
I think there is something in this that I think it might just be that performance, but it's almost like if you were to kind of watch somebody behaving really strangely and you were in a bus station and they were in a bus station over the other side of it, and you were kind of watching them, but you didn't want them to come near you, and you're just kind of watching like cautiously, and you're just keeping an eye out for them. That's kind of what it feels like watching David Hess in this, where you're like, shit, what's he gonna do? This feels insanely real. And I mean, and I guess it's on the edge, isn't it? It's performing on the edge.
Sure.
It's not one I've revisited a lot, if I'm honest. So I feel like we've still got quite a lot to go through here. But I wanted to just get your summing up, really, because I know you had a few. Maybe there's a few that we haven't mentioned that you think would be good recommendations. Maybe next time we'll do the most extreme ones, or we'll group them together in a different way, and maybe. But for this purpose of what we're talking about here is like the video niceties. Which ones do you think were the most accessible?
So of the ones we've mentioned so far, I would say Cannibal Man is a pretty good one to start with. Just realize let's have that slaughterhouse stuff, so just be on the lookout for that if you're not into that. Which it's easily skippable from what I remember. Don't Go in the Woods, of course. Just a goofy little fun, crazy movie. You're either gonna like that one or not like that one. There's kind of nothing in between. Evil Speak. I agree with you 100% on that one. Just a fun little satanic panic type of movie. Nothing too crazy. Let's see, what was the other ones we mentioned? Don't Go Near the Park. I wouldn't recommend it as a movie, but as a beginner, it's not super terrible to start with, even though it's a crap movie.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that we've mentioned so far. I do have a list of others that I think would work if you were starting to get into it. So tell me what you think about these. Have you seen Night? Let's see. Wait, have you seen Lisa Lisa, aka Axe?
No. Lisa,
okay, so this is like a mid 70s or early 70s. I can't remember if it's early 70s or mid 70s. Anyway, it's kind of like about this girl killing people, and there's nothing like super graphic about it. I think mainly because of the cover, and it was called Axe in a lot of places. I think that kind of alerted everybody, alerted the bbfc.
Yeah.
So I think that's really why it was on the list. It's nothing too graphic. It's sort of an early slasher-ish type of movie.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how titles seem to have this big impact on where they
are?
Yeah,
big time.
It's like most things. It's like most things. Most things that politicians will comment on, or people trying to make a political point in the general sphere of just socially. They often haven't seen these things. They often don't really know what they're about. They just read a name and that's it. They're off to the races.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another one, and I think it was because of the name. Well, I guess, and because of the subject matter too. But it's called Mardi Gras Massacre.
Okay.
So there's a lot of killings and whatnot. But as the movie goes on, it just gets tedious, and you kind of don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They kind of do so much that like you're just like, oh, okay. It's kind of shocking anymore. Do I think it's
some
too
of them
shocking?
are just not? Yeah.
Not really. I think it's watchable at least. But it's I think Mardi Gras. I think it's because it was called Mardi Gras Massacre, and there's a good bit of nudity and a good bit of all this other stuff, but it's nothing. It's nothing that a normal person couldn't take.
That's interesting. So there's quite. I would say there's probably about 30 more films on the list. I mean, I mentioned even earlier on. I said about Night Train Murders, thinking it wasn't on the list for some reason, and of course it was on the list. But there's films that we haven't talked about. One of my favorites on the list being The Living Dead in Manchester Morgue. Some of it filmed all over the place, but in the northwest of England, and also supposedly up a bit in the lakes as well. So I find it really interesting film. I like that film a lot. But there's loads that I think we could talk about, and maybe find a different way of getting into them. And I've really enjoyed this part. Now the next part is going to be something that's a little bit strange, because some of the films mentioned in the articles are not actually video nasty films. It's just about the reaction of the media once this term became a thing, if that kind of makes sense. So for example, the first article I've got up on screen here, most unlikely action star in Robert Ginty, The Exterminator, the most horrific movie of all, and it's been passed by the censor, so straight away. Now I'm interested. Like it says there that Variety called it grotesque, so I guess there was a reaction in America. But was it like? Did you have articles like this that came up saying like, here's blood in your eye and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, they always try to sensationalize any type of genre movie they sort of made an impact, or they thought would make an impact. I mean the media just had a field day in the 80s with all this stuff. And I honestly, I think they built it up more than like the fans did. Like they made it more enticing for people to watch this.
I mean, how cool is that for a headline? It makes me want to watch The Exterminator, which I have, and it's. I actually, strangely, I prefer the second one. I think the second one's much sillier.
I kind of like the second one better too.
Yeah, but do you know what's interesting? It says there it was distributed by Stanley Long, who said it beats me why these horror movies are so popular. He's just had his birthday recently, and Stanley Long, the director of the Adventures films, the plumber and all that kind of, so he's like, beats me why these horror films are so popular. People go and have a horrific thrill and then sit with their hands covering their eyes. But who goes to Madame Tussauds without entering the Chamber of Horrors? It's the same audience. It's just so funny that he says that. Yeah, he's been like pushing smut on the on the populace for years. So and again, like Michael's saying in the chat, often people were saying, "Oh, they're doing this, or it's uncut, or it's all that," but then actually, that's not always true. It was just for the purposes of selling newspapers.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Like I said, I think these articles sold the movie more than anything else could. And and like you said, you'd see that right there, and you'd be like, "Ooh, I want to go see that." And so you immediately go to the theater and you go watch it. You know.
It's so funny as well. There's two articles here which are really funny. Video pirates are already carving out a great share of the market. They buy a film, copy it 100 times, rent it out at £70 a time. Now some pirates are renting them out for £5 a week. It's talking about like putting banned adverts on VHS and then renting them out. About soft porn in the living room, in your front room. Guess what now, guys? It's in your phone as well. So yeah, that's pretty wild. The guy in the poster there, I thought it was Elliot Gould in the
I can see that.
I was like, oh, what's he doing in this porn in the front room? So yeah, and apparently Scotland Yard's porn squad has been increased to deal with the flood of material. Last year they seized 1,400 films. Wow.
Well,
so, yeah,
there'll always be a market for the taboo.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, it's impossible to.
And that's kind of what the video nasties became. They became taboo. So we wanted to see them even more, and it's like I said, this whole thing just keeps building up to to us wanting more. Basically,
I love it. It's here. It's like already, we're in 2025, and people are like, "Oh, British industry's on its arse," and we've got here like British industry is a non-starter in the rich video recorder business. None of the many recorders sold or rented this year will be made in Britain. The Japanese have a 90% stranglehold on the lucrative market, with the Germans and Dutch sharing the rest. So I guess British and Americans, we were screwed.
Yeah.
What do you remember? What brand of VCR you had when you were younger?
So I know the very first one we had was a top loader.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was a JVC.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
very
good brand.
Expensive too, from what I remember.
Well, and that we got them. We always got things much later. We had there was a electronic store called Comet in the UK, and in Comet they had their own brand. I don't know who made them, who was under the hood, but there was a black VHS player called Proline. It was just called Proline, and it had it was black with a red line along it. It looked very snazzy. And then later on, I think I may have got a Toshiba, but and that was when we moved to a long play one. So there's those two I remember. I remember my friend having a wooden top loader one and being really jealous. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I wish I had a VCR. Yeah, I was so jealous. Broke into his house. So, there we go. We've got a few examples here.
Oh yeah,
There's a Sanyo one there that looks like a top loader one, £389. So that'd be a lot more in the US. That TV there was like the TV we'd have wheeled into the classroom.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this was at a shop called Rumbelows, which doesn't, but you could did them. I don't know if that was did people in America rent TVs and VCRs?
For a time you could, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like at like the video stores and stuff, like, yeah, if you didn't have a player and you wanted to rent a movie, you could rent the player with the movie.
Yeah. ProLine was always the kind of shit.
Then you had to go and figure out how to hook it up, you know.
Yeah.
So it's on channel 3 or whatever, you know.
And it's usually the kid who ended up doing it because the adults were a bit like, oh no, I haven't got a clue about this technology. This is crazy talk.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that's pretty much how it is today too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it'd be £6.95 a month to get a color portable TV, 14-inch. Rumbelows. We save you money and serve you right. That sounds like it serves you right. Like we're going to rip you off. It serves you right. I'm not going to go through this bit, even though it does mention Mary Whitehouse. This is about a play called The Romans in Britain that had a lot of problems. But seeing as we're talking about VHS and we're running a bit short on time, I'm going to skip over and look for movies. Yeah, it was a Roman play that people were not a big fan of. And it won. They took its court, and the Romans play was allowed to continue.
I'm liking all the ads.
Yeah, I'm finding them fascinating, actually. So this one, video film kids beat the X certificate. The video boom is giving youngsters a chance to see some of the most horrific and violent films. That sounds like a positive thing. Like, it's giving them a chance to see some of the most horrific and violent films ever made. Yeah. Yay!
Yeah.
But the British Board of Film Censors is furious. And it mentions the highlight was a showing of the Teenage Birthday Party, where the highlight was a showing of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nice. That sounds like a party to me. I don't know.
The board heard of parents finding 12-year-olds watching uncut versions of zombie flesh eaters.
Oh no! So okay, so now I get all the zombie stuff. I get why the zombie stuff was on the list. I totally understand. If you look at it today, though, like there's zombies everywhere. There's zombies on TV. There's literally zombies on your television right now, ripping people apart and eating them. It's become so oversaturated that it's kind of funny looking back now at all of this. Back then, there was that's too far and too much, and maybe it was back then. I don't know, but we've gone so far since then, and I'm thankful for it.
Well, I work with kids, and obviously you've worked with kids as well, and at times, and it says here about 12-year-olds watching zombie flesh eaters. I'd imagine that the average 12-year-old now has seen stuff
way
probably
worse.
Way worse.
Oh, yeah.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm.
Did you have? That's a good question. Sorry, go on.
Almost guarantee it.
Yeah. Did you have video vans? Now, we had a lot of video shops where I lived, and I suspect, and please don't get upset, Michael. But I suspect you're a couple of years older than me. I don't remember video vans. We had a lot of video shops, but yeah. Did you have anyone coming around video vans?
Not to my knowledge. We had a few mom and pop shops. We had a couple. And then I also remember the grocery stores. A lot of them also had a little video rental place kind of in a corner of the store, and you go and rent the video from the grocery store. There was one very close to my house that I used to walk to about every 2 or 3 days and rent a new movie. And they had a great horror section. I saw so
Yeah.
many movies because of the grocery store.
It's great
Back in
when
the day.
that's more like in the sort of villagey areas of Britain when I go on holiday to like farms and stuff with my mum and dad, like because we didn't fly anywhere.
Mhm.
You go in the local shop and there'd be like a VHS rental section. But in like sort of cities or places where we live, it was more like say specific video shops. We had like Hollywood Nights, Ava Video, like all these different places I can remember the names of that were like an absolute
Mhm.
mecca for me. In fact, I think one of them might have been called Mecca. Um, but yeah, do you know what I found quite interesting? This article, I was reading this one earlier on, it makes me laugh. There's a survey taken by a careers teacher called Richard Neighbor, which sounds like a made-up name. Included titles such as Scum, Zombie Flesh Eaters, The Exorcist, Flesh Gordon, and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all films they were too young to see in the local cinema. But there's a quote here later on who's saying that the kids should be watching like Saturday morning TV, like Swap Shop, but could easily turn out to be at a friend's house watching torrid sex and violence. But one of the things that makes me laugh was, and for a few good years, anyone with a video recorder had to put up with winks, nudges, and requests to see something naughty. So the idea that you just having a video player would make you some sort of deviant, like you were either copying or selling or watching dodgy stuff.
Well, I guess they were thinking that you have access to all this crazy stuff, and you're going to watch it because why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, it's just so funny that the idea of just owning the equipment, like, is like you would have people going, ooh, yeah, well, I bet you've got that. I know why you've got that video player.
I know what you're doing. Yeah,
yeah, I know what you're up to.
Yeah.
But the interesting bit here, it says Richard Neighbor is no devotee of Mary Whitehouse. I'm not in favor of censorship for adults, but I am concerned about what we show to children. A thinking parent is unlikely to show The Exorcist to his children, but video. Well, this is what it comes down to, isn't it? Gives the children access to something that the parents might not be able to control. Basically, he's saying it's you can choose not you go into the cinema and take them to the cinema. It's unlikely that you're going to do that, but you could sit them down and watch The Exorcist at home. He's basically saying, I wonder what Richard Neighbor thinks now if he's still with us.
Right?
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. So this is all about this report. It's really interesting. Plus, this sandwich toast is only $16.95, which is an absolute bargain.
Hey, I'm about to say let's buy one.
Let's buy one, and we'll see if we can get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
Bruce Lee.
We can share custody. I can take it one week and give it to you another week.
Yeah, we can email it to each other. So we've got on this one's an interesting one. It's got front covers, and we talked a bit about the power of front covers before. So you got Driller Killer there in the middle, which I think is one of the most famous front covers. You got SS Experiment. We didn't talk about the sort of Nazi sex hybrid films.
That'll be on the next episode.
But here we're talking. Despite the US ban on snuff, Mike Bean, the managing director of its British distributor Astra Video, says he is not worried about it being stopped here. There's no censorship laws on video retail. What can they do about it? Oh, so this must have been before things really were clamped down upon. Talks about Vipco, that distributes Driller Killer. We're feeding a demand, not creating it, they said. Don't blame us.
We didn't do it.
Yeah. We didn't do it. We're just giving everybody the copies of the tapes. They cost as little as £2 to hire for up to 4 nights. They exploit. Video trade is biggest money spinner. Well, this is the thing. I don't think the video market would have been as big and as massive without Video Nasties. I think it was horror films that pretty much kept it going.
I mean, okay, so like in the when VHS first came out, what were you more inclined to watch? Were you going to watch some crazy horror movie, or were you going to watch Kramer versus Kramer on VHS? You know, like what are you going to watch over and over again? You're certainly not going to watch Kramer versus Kramer.
No, man, I'm not going to sit there
You
watching War of the Roses. You know.
Yeah, you're not gonna. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a funny. It's an interesting one because like horror was almost the one thing that kept the cinemas going during COVID as well, and it kind of did the same or built the market. Certainly built the market in on VHS. But I don't know if we could say the same about DVD. But I definitely bespoke boutique horror Blu-rays and 4Ks are very probably more in demand than anything else, I'd imagine. Yeah, I've literally ordered a 4K of Troll 2, which I already own because it's
exactly
4K.
Exactly,
and
like,
it looks nice.
And what do all these quote unquote boutique labels sell? Horror and genre movies.
Yeah, and a lot of them are actually were video nasties as well.
There was a good chunk of them. Yeah, a good chunk of them.
Yeah,
have been video nasties at one point or another.
Yeah. Yes, so I feel like we need to have a part 2 where we continue going through the rest of the list and some more of these articles. If you're up for that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so interesting to kind of read what it was like at the time. Like, obviously, there was still when this article here, they're talking about the fact that they were still using the obscenity and film censorship laws, which were made in 1979 before video was really a thing. It wasn't even mentioned. And this article here was from 1982. So it's that kind of sweet spot where they're still trying to work out what the hell to do.
Nice.
Which is a good one for us to explore, I think, in our next episode, which is like kind of how they dealt with it, and you know, as we moved into the sort of child's play era, and that's a whole other conversation, certainly in the UK. And and also there was a sandwich toaster there that looked very much like a George Foreman grill. I know he's no longer with us, but I'm sure he'd be seething if he found out that the British were selling these before him.
I can't believe it, man.
Yeah, he's like, first Ali, now this. So no, it's been so this has been really good fun. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully people have been pointed in the direction of a few films if they just want to get their toes wet in the video nasty world. And I appreciate we've got something coming up together soon as well that we're going to watch in December. Do you want to kind of give people the rundown on that before we get out of everybody's hair?
Well, yeah, starting in December, I will be watching a whole bunch of El Santo movies, and nice. Matthew will be one of our lovely victims. I mean, co-watchers on one of the movies.
That's my Santo impression.
Yeah,
like when he's wrestling, like I'm gonna get you.
If you don't know who Santo is, he's a Mexican luchador, professional wrestler, aka, who made a slew of these these really bad action horror cult crazy little movies where he beats everybody up, and they're hilarious. I call it Santo Claus because you know it's gonna be during December, and we're gonna celebrate Santo all month long. I have a few lined up with Matt. We're gonna watch Santo versus the Zombies.
Of course. We've got to have some zombies in there.
Speaking of zombies, yeah.
It's not going to be as violent, I don't think, and as gruesome as some of the films we've talked about tonight. But definitely as much fun.
I think it'll be a little more fun. I think it'll be a little more. Yes, indeed.
It's been really cool. All the people in the chat adding their their experiences of the video nasty era and what they watched, what they liked, what they didn't like.
And then I'll also be on Kal-El Daily's show. Hopefully next week. I'll see. I know I got some stuff
nice.
going on. I'm gonna try to be on his show next week, so look out for that. Shout out to Cat.
Oh man, I will. I will definitely, yeah, I will definitely catch that. And it's been really like I'm trying to cram in as much work as I can so that I can get a holiday from the 20th of December onwards. So I've got quite a few streams coming up with yourself and a few other people that I want to catch up with before my little Christmas break that I'm going to give myself. So this has been really, really good fun. I can't wait for Santo versus the Zombies. This has been this. I feel like we're halfway through a bit of a journey into the video nasty. So many articles.
There's so much more to
left
talk
out.
about. Yeah,
I literally have about another 150 articles for us to look at.
Sounds like a good time.
And some of those films that we didn't get a chance to mention are probably some of my favorites in the list as well.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a few more I have listed that we can expound upon like next time.
I'm sure that I know there's definitely some nun related stuff, and we didn't really talk about any Argento films that were in there.
Yeah. I said there's so much more. Yeah.
We didn't talk about the Evil Dead, so like maybe it was good for us to talk about some of the lesser known ones that people might want to, they might have already watched the Evil Dead if they're likely to have been watching horror without knowing it was on that list.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, is there anything you want to? I mean, we've talked about what's coming up on your channel. Is there anything else you want to kind of throw in there before we say goodbye to the good people?
Well, if I can indulge myself, sure. I have one more thing I can. If you're around later tonight, we're gonna start at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I think that's 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So if you're up or you're around, join me on the B-Zone Roku channel because I'll be hosting my silent show that I do every month. And we'll be doing a chat in the Facebook page and all that. It should be a good time. We're watching Blanca Nieves, which is a 2012 Spanish silent adaptation of Snow White. And it's pretty awesome. So check it out.
Wow, that sounds cool. I'm a sleepy boy, but I will point everyone in the direction of it, and I will try and catch it myself. It sounds like a lot of fun. I've watched quite a few of your silent film related things, and it's fascinating. It's really, really cool. It's a good area for people to kind of get into. So also you can watch it, and you can watch it with the sound off, and you won't get in trouble for watching movies, at work or something like that. Unless you're driving a bus, in which case it's not a good idea.
Very true. Very, very true. That's it. Yeah, it's a good. Just put it on in the middle of the night and just kind of mute it right there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks again, everyone. Really do appreciate all of the people in the chat and people watching who are not in the chat, and just people in general who like movies and have an opinion on it. It's pretty cool. So we'll see you again. The nasty, not so nasty, nice. The not so nasty boys. I don't know. Whatever we're calling ourselves. Yeah, something like that. We will see you again. I'm sure, and we'll do more of this because this was awesome. So have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Bye bye. Oh, Al, do you want to see us off in your inimitable style?
Absolutely. So. Some of you know how I like to end videos. Anyway, in the immortal words of John DeHart, adios, Bella Lugosi.